The Viracarian Empire had ruled the known galaxy for over 10,000 years. Their massive ships, powered by quantum-fold technology, cast shadows across entire continents. Their warriors, enhanced by centuries of genetic engineering, could survive in the harshest environments. Their civilization had subjugated hundreds of species across thousands of worlds. So when their long-range scouts first detected Earth, it was cataloged as just another primitive world ripe for conquest. High Commander Zarval stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship, Eternal Dawn, watching the holographic display of the blue planet. His scaled hands clasped behind his back, membrane-covered eyes analyzing every detail of this unremarkable world. The humans had barely achieved spaceflight, their primitive vessels still burning chemical fuel to reach their own moon. Their cities were inefficient, their weapons crude, their divisions numerous. By all measures, they should have been an easy conquest. "Prepare the standard subjugation protocol," Zarval ordered, his voice carrying the weight of countless victories. No need to waste resources on full military deployment. A single battle group should suffice. But deep beneath the surface of human civilization, in hardened bunkers and secret facilities scattered across the globe, humanity had been preparing. They had detected the Viracarian probe ships years ago. While the world's governments maintained a facade of ignorance and technological limitation, Project Guardian had been advancing human technology at an unprecedented pace. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the heart of the Guardian facility, buried deep within the Rocky Mountains. Holographic displays showed the approaching Viracarian fleet, exactly as their predictive models had anticipated. She turned to General Marcus Rodriguez, who nodded grimly. "They're following the exact pattern we expected. Arrogant, minimal force, standard approach vector. Initiate Operation Thunderbolt," Rodriguez commanded. Across the globe, hidden facilities hummed to life. Quantum sensors, reverse-engineered from crashed Viracarian scout ships, tracked the approaching fleet. Phase-shifted defense platforms, invisible to conventional scanners, powered up their weapons. And in orbital hangars disguised as communication satellites, Earth's true fleet waited. The Viracarian battle group emerged from quantum space at the edge of the solar system. Commander Teklar of the assault carrier, Swift Victory, smiled as his sensors showed minimal defensive capabilities. A few primitive satellites, some basic kinetic weapons platforms, and a handful of chemical-powered ships. This would be another easy victory for the Empire. "Launch the first wave," Teklar ordered. "Standard shock and awe protocol. Let's show these primitives the futility of resistance." The first wave of Viracarian fighters streaked toward Earth's atmosphere. That's when humanity revealed its first surprise. The primitive satellites suddenly shifted, phase barriers dropping to reveal state-of-the-art defense platforms. Quantum-locked particle beams lashed out with perfect accuracy, swatting the fighters from the sky like insects. "Impossible," Teklar shouted as his fighters disappeared from tactical displays. "They can't have this technology. They're primitives." The second surprise came as Earth's true fleet decloaked. Ships of human design but incorporating advanced technology emerged from their hiding places. They were smaller than their Viracarian counterparts, but more agile, their weapons optimized specifically for the Empire's weaknesses. In the Guardian facility, Dr. Chen watched the battle unfold. Years of preparation, of studying Viracarian technology and tactics, were paying off. The Empire had expected a primitive species cowering before their might. Instead, they found humanity at its finest, adaptive, innovative, and absolutely unwilling to submit. The battle in orbit turned into a slaughter, but not the one the Empire had planned. Human ships, using modified versions of Viracarian quantum drives, blinked in and out of normal space, striking from impossible angles. Defense platforms fired graviton-charged weapons that bypassed Imperial shields completely. Within hours, the entire battle group was destroyed or captured. Commander Zarval received the news with stunned disbelief. The humans had not only defeated an Imperial battle group, they had done so with technology that should have been centuries beyond their reach. Worse, they had clearly been preparing for this encounter, studying and adapting Varkarian technology in secret. As emergency quantum pulses carried news of the defeat back to the Empire, humanity broadcast a single message on all Imperial frequencies. "We know you're coming. We're ready. Turn back now." The message was clear, but the Empire had never backed down from a challenge. They had conquered countless worlds, broken countless species. These humans, despite their clever preparations, would be no different, or so they thought. As Zarval ordered the deployment of the main fleet, he failed to realize a crucial truth. The Empire had never faced a species quite like humanity before. They had never encountered a civilization that could advance so quickly, adapt so readily, or fight with such desperate innovation. The Empire's first mistake was underestimating humanity. Their second mistake would be coming back for more. The Varkarian Empire's response to their initial defeat came swift and brutal. Thousands of warships emerged from quantum space, their hulls gleaming with malevolent purpose. This time, there would be no underestimation, no half measures. The Empire committed its full might to crushing this unexpected resistance. But Earth had been busy in the weeks following their first victory. Dr. Chen's team had reverse-engineered the captured Imperial vessels, uncovering weaknesses in Varkarian technology that no one had ever exploited. The Empire's quantum drives operated on predictable frequencies, a flaw that humans quickly learned to exploit. In the Strategic Command Center beneath Mount Cheyenne, General Rodriguez studied the holographic display of the approaching Armada. Beside him, Admiral Helen Park, commander of Earth's Space Defense Force, analyzed enemy formation patterns. The Empire's ships moved with mechanical precision, following battle doctrines perfected over millennia. "They're so predictable," Park mused, her fingers tracing the enemy fleet's approach vectors. 10,000 years of victory made them inflexible. That's their greatest weakness. The Empire's massive fleet spread across the solar system, establishing quantum-fold barriers to prevent escape. They expected to trap Earth's forces, to crush humanity's resistance with overwhelming force. Instead, they found their own technology being used against them in ways they never imagined. From hidden bases on Mars, Europa, and dozens of asteroids, human ships launched their counterattack. But these weren't conventional battles. Humanity had developed what they called quantum ghost technology, ships that could partially exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. To the Empire's sensors, it appeared as if they were fighting phantoms. Dr. Chen watched from her laboratory as the first deployments of the quantum ghost ships engaged the enemy. "The Empire thinks in terms of brute force," she explained to her team. They never considered that their quantum technology could be used this way. They see reality as fixed, absolute. We see possibilities. The human ships phased in and out of normal space, appearing inside Imperial formations before their shields could adapt. Quantum-tipped missiles passed through Varkarian defenses as if they weren't there, detonating with devastating effect. The Empire's mighty fleet found itself fighting an enemy they could barely track, let alone hit. But humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their advanced technology. It was their ability to adapt and innovate in real time. When the Empire adjusted their shields to counter the quantum ghost ships, humanity switched tactics. Solar mirrors deployed from hidden bases on Mercury, focusing the sun's energy into devastating beams that overwhelmed Imperial defenses. The Empire had never encountered such fluid, unpredictable warfare. Their commanders, trained in rigid tactical doctrines, struggled to counter strategies that changed faster than they could analyze them. Each time they thought they had humanity cornered, Earth's forces revealed new weapons, new tactics, new ways of turning the Empire's own technology against them. On the bridge of his flagship, High Commander Zarval raged at his tactical officers. How are they doing this? They were primitives mere decades ago. This level of advancement should be impossible. What Zarval couldn't understand was that humanity's greatest advances had come not from careful, methodical research, but from desperate innovation. When Project Guardian discovered the first Varkarian scout ship, Earth scientists didn't just study it, they reimagined it. They asked questions the Empire had never considered, saw possibilities that 10,000 years of tradition had blinded them to. The battle for the solar system raged for days. The Empire's numerical superiority meant nothing against an enemy that refused to fight conventionally. Human ships would appear from quantum space just long enough to strike critical targets, then vanish before the Empire could respond. Ground-based weapons used the sun's own magnetic field as a weapon, disrupting Imperial quantum communications and coordination. But the Empire's resources seemed endless. For every ship humanity destroyed, 2 more arrived to take its place. The quantum ghost ships, revolutionary as they were, couldn't be everywhere at once. Slowly, inevitably, the Empire's vast armada began to push toward Earth. Dr. Chen worked tirelessly in her laboratory, knowing that humanity needed something more. The quantum ghost technology had bought them time, but it wouldn't be enough for victory. As she studied the captured Imperial technology, she began to see patterns, weaknesses in the very foundation of Virkarian technological development. Their entire civilization is built on quantum manipulation, she explained to General Rodriguez during an emergency briefing. But they only use it in the most straightforward ways. They never explored the true possibilities of quantum mechanics. We need to show them what they've been missing. As the Empire's fleet closed in on Earth, humanity prepared to unveil their next surprise. The quantum ghost ships were just the beginning. A test run for something far more ambitious. In secret facilities around the globe, Project Guardian was about to demonstrate why humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, but their imagination. The Empire thought they had seen everything humanity could throw at them. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. For the first time in its 10,000-year history, the Virkarian Empire faced internal dissent. As news of their losses against the humans spread through quantum channels, questions began to emerge. How could a supposedly primitive species resist the Empire's might? The answer shook the foundation of Imperial society. Humanity hadn't just survived, they had innovated beyond anything the Empire thought possible. In the Imperial Palace on Virkar Prime, Emperor Nexthor faced mounting pressure from the noble houses. The cost of the Earth campaign had already exceeded the combined resources spent on their last dozen conquests. Ancient alliances began to fracture as noble houses questioned the wisdom of continuing the war. Meanwhile, Earth had achieved something unprecedented. True global unity. Former adversaries now worked together, pooling resources and sharing technology. The old borders and rivalries meant nothing in the face of extinction. Humanity had found its strength not just in technology, but in cooperation. Dr. Chen's laboratory had become a global nexus of innovation. Scientists from every nation contributed ideas, each bringing unique perspectives to the challenge of survival. The Empire expects us to think like them, she told a gathering of international researchers. Their greatest weakness is their inability to imagine alternatives. That philosophy led to Project Prometheus, humanity's most ambitious undertaking. While quantum ghost ships harried the Imperial fleet, a secret network of quantum entanglement devices was being constructed. Each device, small enough to fit in a briefcase, contained technology that even the Empire hadn't mastered. The Virkarian Empire had always used quantum mechanics for straightforward applications, faster than light travel, communications, weapons. But humanity saw deeper possibilities. Dr. Chen's team had discovered that reality itself was more flexible than the Empire realized. The quantum entanglement network wasn't just a weapon. It was a way to rewrite the rules of engagement. General Rodriguez coordinated with military leaders worldwide from the new Global Defense Center, built deep within the Antarctic ice. Holographic displays showed the Empire's fleet, still probing Earth's defenses. But something had changed in their tactics. The Imperial ships moved more cautiously now, afraid of hidden human weapons. They're starting to doubt themselves, Admiral Park observed. For the first time in their history, they're facing an enemy they don't understand. Fear is spreading through their ranks. She was right. The Empire's military doctrine, unchanged for millennia, was falling apart. Their rigid hierarchy couldn't adapt to humanity's fluid tactics. Imperial commanders, trained to follow strict protocols, found themselves paralyzed when faced with situations their manuals never conceived. On Earth, the resistance network grew stronger each day. Cities had been moved underground, protected by advanced shield technology. Former military rivals now trained together, sharing techniques and strategies. Children in hidden schools learned to operate technology that would have seemed magical just years ago. But the Empire's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating humanity's technology. It was failing to understand human nature itself. When Imperial spies finally managed to infiltrate Earth's defense network, they discovered something that terrified them. Humans weren't just fighting for survival. They were innovating faster than ever before. In her laboratory, Dr. Chen made the breakthrough that would change everything. She had been studying the quantum signature of Imperial technology, looking for patterns no one else had noticed. What she found was astounding. The Empire's entire technological base rested on a fundamental misunderstanding of quantum mechanics. They'd been brute forcing their way through quantum space, she explained to the Global Defense Council. But there's a deeper level they never explored. We can use this. We can turn their own quantum network against them. Project Prometheus moved into its final phase. Around the world, quantum entanglement devices activated, creating a web of interconnected quantum states. The Empire's sensors detected nothing, but reality itself was being prepared for something unprecedented. High Commander Zarval, watching Earth from his flagship, felt a growing sense of unease. His fleet was the largest ever assembled, yet victory seemed further away than ever. Reports from his infiltrators made no sense. Humans were treating the war not as a catastrophe, but as an opportunity for advancement. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Nexthor received more disturbing news. Other subjugated species were watching Earth's resistance with growing interest. The myth of imperial invincibility was cracking. If humans could resist, why couldn't others? But the Empire had committed too much to turn back now. Their entire civilization rested on the principle of absolute dominance. If they retreated from Earth, everything they had built over 10 millennia might unravel. As both sides prepared for the next phase of the war, Dr. Chen put the finishing touches on Project Prometheus. The Empire thought they were fighting a conventional war against a technologically inferior species. They were about to discover just how wrong they were about both humanity's capabilities and their determination. The quantum entanglement network was ready. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't the technology itself. It was their ability to imagine possibilities that the Empire, in all its millennia of existence, had never dreamed of. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and nothing in the Empire's long history had prepared them for what was coming. News of Earth's resistance spread through the galaxy like a quantum shockwave. On thousands of subjugated worlds, enslaved species watched and whispered about the impossible, a primitive planet standing against the Empire. But humanity wasn't just fighting. They were winning, and their example ignited a flame that would burn across the stars. The Verkarian Empire's worst nightmare was becoming reality. On the desert world of Kethara, the insectoid Keth broke their chains, using tactics learned from studying Earth's resistance. The crystalline Axiom Collective, long thought completely subjugated, began sabotaging imperial quantum networks. Species after species, inspired by humanity's example, found their courage to resist. Dr. Chen's Project Prometheus was ready for its first test. The quantum entanglement network covered the entire solar system in an invisible web of possibility. What we're about to do, she explained to the Global Defense Council, has never been attempted in the history of physics. We're not just fighting their ships, we're going to change the rules of reality itself. The Empire's massive fleet pressed forward, unaware that they were about to face something beyond their comprehension. High Commander Zarval had arranged his ships in the Empire's traditional spear formation, a blade of warships meant to pierce straight through Earth's defenses. It had worked on 1,000 worlds. It would fail spectacularly on Earth. Admiral Park gave the order that would change the course of the war. Activate Project Prometheus. The quantum entanglement network hummed to life. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself began to shift. The space around the Imperial fleet became fluid, malleable. Quantum states that the Empire had always treated as fixed began to blur and merge. The effect was devastating. Imperial ships, dependent on rigid quantum mechanics for everything from navigation to life support, found themselves in a space where their fundamental assumptions about reality no longer applied. Their quantum drives, unable to find fixed reference points, began to fail. Communications collapsed as quantum signals reached their destinations before they were sent. Impossible. Zargal screamed as his flagship systems went dark. What sorcery is this? But it wasn't sorcery. It was science pushed beyond anything the Empire had imagined possible. Humanity had discovered what the Empire, in its technological arrogance, had missed. Quantum mechanics wasn't just a tool to be used, but a fundamental aspect of reality that could be reshaped by those who truly understood it. The Empire's mighty fleet, terror of 1,000 worlds, found itself trapped in a bubble of altered spacetime. Their weapons fired but never reached their targets. Their shields flickered as quantum fluctuations made energy barriers meaningless. Ships tried to retreat into quantum space, only to find themselves emerging before they had entered. Dr. Chen watched the data streams with intense concentration. "The network is stable," she reported. "We've created a quantum anomaly zone around their fleet. Inside that zone, cause and effect are negotiable." As reports of the battle spread across the galaxy, the impact was immediate and revolutionary. The Keth Rebellion, already gaining ground, redoubled its efforts. The Axiom Collective began sharing their own quantum-based innovations with other resistant species. A coalition of freed worlds began to form, sharing technology and strategies. On Virkar Prime, Emperor Nexthor faced an unprecedented crisis. The noble houses were in open revolt. The news the humans had found a way to manipulate fundamental reality itself sent shockwaves through imperial society. Their technological superiority, the foundation of their power, was crumbling. But the Empire still had one advantage: numbers. Even with their fleet in disarray, they could still overwhelm Earth through sheer force of numbers. As Project Prometheus took its toll on the first wave, more ships emerged from quantum space, ready to sacrifice themselves for imperial glory. That's when humanity revealed their final surprise. The quantum entanglement network wasn't just a weapon. It was a communication system unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Through the network, Earth began broadcasting the secrets of their technology to every enslaved world in the Empire. The effect was electric. Species that had been technologically suppressed for millennia suddenly had access to innovations the Empire had never dreamed possible. The quantum ghost technology, the solar mirror systems, and most importantly, the underlying principles of Project Prometheus, all of it was shared freely. Admiral Park watched as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. "We're not just fighting a war," she realized. "We're starting a revolution." The Empire had ruled through technological superiority and iron control of information. Now both advantages were gone. As their fleet struggled in the quantum anomaly zone around Earth, their entire civilization began to unravel. The same quantum network that had maintained their control became a highway for rebellion. Dr. Chen's team continued to refine Project Prometheus, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. But their greatest achievement wasn't the technology itself. It was showing the galaxy that resistance wasn't futile, that even the most established power could be challenged by those willing to think differently. As the battle for Earth entered its final phase, the war had already evolved into something much larger. Humanity hadn't just defended itself, they had sparked a galactic revolution. The Empire's greatest mistake wasn't attacking Earth. It was showing the galaxy that they could be beaten. Emperor Nexthor stood in his grand palace on Virkar Prime, watching his empire crumble through quantum feeds from across the galaxy. The humans hadn't just defeated his forces, they had shattered the very foundations of imperial power. Every passing moment brought news of another world joining the rebellion, another fleet turning against their masters, another noble house declaring independence. On Earth, Dr. Chen and her global team had transformed Project Prometheus from a defensive weapon into something far more profound. The quantum entanglement network now stretched across hundreds of light years, linking former imperial worlds in a new kind of civilization, one built on shared knowledge rather than domination. The Empire made one fundamental mistake, Dr. Chen explained to the gathered representatives of newly freed worlds. They saw the universe as something to be controlled. We saw it as something to be understood. That difference changed everything. High Commander Zarval's once mighty fleet hung in space around Earth, trapped in the quantum anomaly zone. Their ships, designed for absolute control over quantum mechanics, were useless in a region where reality itself had become fluid, but the Empire had one final card to play: the Planet Killer. For 10,000 years, the Empire had kept this weapon secret, a last resort that could destroy entire worlds. As the massive ship emerged from quantum space at the edge of the solar system, its purpose was clear. If the Empire couldn't have Earth, no one would. Admiral Park received the warnings from Earth's quantum sensors. The Planet Killer was unlike anything they had encountered, a ship that could trigger a chain reaction in a planet's core, causing it to explode. The Empire had used it only once before, making an example of a world that dared to resist. But humanity had learned from every encounter, adapted to every threat. As the Planet Killer approached, Dr. Chen activated the final phase of Project Prometheus. The quantum entanglement network had evolved beyond its original design, becoming something that even she hadn't fully anticipated. "We're not just changing local space anymore," she announced to the Global Defense Council. "We're about to rewrite the rules for the entire galaxy." The Planet Killer charged its main weapon, preparing to destroy Earth. But in that moment, humanity revealed their true mastery of quantum mechanics. The entanglement network didn't just affect space around Earth. It had become a new layer of reality itself, one that humanity had learned to shape. As the Planet Killer fired, something unprecedented happened. The quantum-based weapon, designed to tunnel through planetary cores, encountered a space where quantum mechanics themselves had been rewritten. The beam didn't just fail. It reflected back on itself, caught in a loop of contradictory quantum states. The Empire's ultimate weapon became its own undoing. The Planet Killer, unable to handle the quantum feedback, began to break apart. The sight of their invincible weapon failing sent shockwaves through what remained of Imperial authority. Emperor Nexthor, watching from his palace, finally understood the true magnitude of his civilization's failure. The Empire had spent 10 millennia perfecting their control over quantum mechanics, never realizing that they had only scratched the surface of what was possible. The rebellion that Earth had inspired swept through the galaxy like wildfire. Species that had been enemies under Imperial rule found common cause in their newly gained freedom. The quantum entanglement network became the foundation of a new galactic society, one where information and innovation flowed freely. Dr. Chen's team continued to make breakthroughs, each discovery shared instantly across the network. The rigid hierarchy of imperial technology gave way to an explosion of creativity as thousands of species contributed their unique perspectives to understanding the universe. Admiral Park stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship, watching the remnants of the Imperial fleet surrender. "We didn't just win a war," she reflected. "We showed the galaxy a better way forward." The final battle wasn't fought with weapons but with ideas. The Empire, faced with the complete collapse of their technological advantage and the loss of their control over information, began to fragment. Noble houses that had stood for millennia now sought to join the new galactic network of free worlds. On Earth, celebrations erupted as news of the Empire's surrender spread. But the humans who had led the resistance understood that their real work was just beginning. They had sparked a revolution that would reshape the galaxy, but now they had to help build something to replace what they had torn down. The Galactic Coalition formed in the aftermath, built on principles learned from Earth's resistance. Knowledge would be shared, not hoarded. Innovation would be encouraged, not controlled. Every species would have a voice in shaping their collective future. As the dust settled, Dr. Chen stood in her laboratory, looking at the quantum display showing thousands of worlds linked by the entanglement network. The Empire thought they were the peak of civilization. She mused. They never understood that true civilization isn't about control. It's about growth, about learning, about seeing possibilities where others see limits. The Empire's twilight marked the dawn of a new era in galactic history. Humanity had done more than defend their world. They had shown the galaxy that the impossible was only impossible until someone dared to imagine otherwise. The Empire's first war against humanity had indeed been their biggest mistake, but it had given birth to something greater than anyone could have imagined. In the end, the Empire fell not to superior weapons or overwhelming force, but to an idea that the universe wasn't something to be conquered, but something to be explored and understood together. And that idea, born on a small blue planet they had once dismissed as primitive, would reshape the galaxy for millennia to come.